Hey guys, it's Kelly. Thank you so much for joining me today on the Crafty Maven channel. I just showed the mood board for the week, and I was very inspired with the bright colors, and I chose to take from that a couple of things: the colors, the turquoises and the citron, and a little bit of the yellow, and the floral aspect of it, and in the bottom right hand corner of the mood board there was I guess a living room space, and it was white and it had the pops of color. So what I thought I would do would see how I could make this translate to the page. And so I did choose the white cardstock as my base, but I knew that I wanted a lot of layers of the different colors. So I went into my stash and I had an iris container that I have just put in leftovers from some of my hip kits. Some of the things that, I wasn't quite ready to put all the way back into my stash, and it's something that I will go look through when I am going to make a page, or to see, if there's something else that I need to add. I'll go there first, and after a while I'll just, move things from that area into my stash. So what I decided to do was to take these papers from Chicken Nitty, and I wanted a bunch of different layers underneath the photo. And on the mood board there was a clock, and the clock looked like different layers of paper underneath it, and they were all kind of fanned out somewhat so that you could see parts of it but not the whole image. And they were actually a little bit more cattywampus than what I did. Sometimes I don't like necessarily shifting all of my papers. I like it to where you can see all the edges, but to make things purposefully crooked, sometimes I just can't. It's just one of those little things, my OCD wants to kick in and straighten it up. So one of the things that I usually do with my pages is use doilies. And so what I wanted to do was use a doily as another layer. And that's why you'll see that I, tried the bright colors first. And I thought, you know what, it's taken away from the airy look of the layout that I wanted, and just wanted you to be able to see a little bit of doily all the way around the photo. And at this point, I'm pretty happy with the layers, and I'm just going to go ahead and take my tiny attacher and just staple them. And I don't normally do that, and I really like that little trick. I'm going to have to incorporate that a little bit more. So here what I'm doing is I'm taking cheap foam from, just the box craft store, and backing my photo, and that is definitely a cheaper way to pop your photos up. And the other thing that I like about it is that it is a different height than the foam dots that I have, so that I can nestle things up above and below. So the things that I am rummaging through right now, again, are from various hip kits. There's some pink paisley embellishments in there. There's some Amy Tangerine, some Heidi Swap words, and also some Chicken Nitty. The enamel words are from Chicken Nitty, and I really wanted to get those on the page, but it didn't really, none of the words really matched, what I was going to be journaling about. And Dream is kind of far-fetched, but she's asleep, so Dream, I want to use up some of the things that I have, rather than, taking out my thickers and making another title. It's funny. Emily and Juliet have, Juliet has slept in Emily's room now for as long as I can remember. And it's quite funny, because Juliet literally will lay on her pillow. It doesn't start off that way, but during the night, somehow she gets on Emily's pillow, and Emily sometimes only has the barest little place to lay her head, and often she is been kicked off her pillow completely. So I just wanted to document this little tidbit, and it's not like it's the most important story, but it's just one of those sweet stories that when you're thinking about, looking back at times and looking back at your pets and your life and things like that. I just thought that would be something that would be neat for her to look back on. So what I am doing is taking my Heidi Swapp Mist in Citron, and I just have one of these old Studio Calico boxes, and I keep paper towel on the bottom, and I'll just use spray mist on any of those things just to help keep the spray contained. And I did want to start playing around with it, so I did take my heat tool and dry it. So I decided that I wanted to house my title on a cluster on the bottom left-hand corner, and I really thought that the page needed something else, and by having that little splash of color down at the bottom, I felt like it was starting to become more complete and that the page was making more sense. So I'm liking the way that this is coming out, and that little bow that you see me messing around with, that was from Dear Lizzie, and it was some acetate pieces that probably came in the same hip kit that the Pink Paisley ephemera came in, and because their colors are pretty much the same. So I wanted to try to get a couple of those pieces used as well. A lot of these ephemera packs have tons of ephemera, and I never can get them all used. So I like it when I can pull stuff from my stash and just, make it work. So I'm using my T-square ruler to line up that photo mat again. It's the little OCD in me, but you know what? I love it. It works. And, why mess with something when it works for you? So here's I'm a dork, and I adhered my papers down before I distressed the edges. I wanted to try something a little bit different. I did not want to take away from the clean look of them by inking them too much. I didn't want to dirty them up. I didn't want to tear all of the layouts or all of the layers either, because a lot of these were single-sided, and it's a lot of white that sometimes will show when you do so. So I decided just to use my little distressor and just ever so slightly rough up the edges, and it just gave it a little bit of different texture. It didn't take away from the clean look, which is what I was going for. I didn't want anything to detract from the bright, clean look that I was going for. So that yellow tag has been in my stash forever. I know it's Dear Lizzie. I don't know what collection it came from. I just recognize the wording on it, and I usually don't like to cover up my tags if they have writing on like that, because it would be a nice element to incorporate on the page. But when it's been something in my stash for that long, I'm fine with going ahead and using it, because I'd rather have it used than to stay in my stash. So I took my tiny attacher and stapled the bow onto the heart, and this is pretty much it. However, I will tell you that I end up with a little bit of a disaster after my filming stops, and let me tell you what happened. So in just a minute, you're going to see me take some spray mist on a plastic package, and I just sprinkled a little bit of that Citron Heidi Swapp mist around the edges of around the clusters on the page. I didn't want it, again, to like dirty it up. I didn't want to do too much. I wanted it a nice, bright, clean look. But my problem was that I left my mist on the packaging on my desk. And while I was cleaning up, my layout on that left-hand side of the page got in the mist, and I just about had heart failure. So what I did real quick was I was able to gently pull up that bottom strip, and I had to cut off an inch off of the cardstock. And so my battery and my camera, or my phone battery, was almost dead, so I had to charge it. And so I did not get this on video, but what I ended up doing was taking a piece of vellum and pale blue cardstock, and I backed the layout on that, and it worked. I saved it, but oh my goodness, it was, you know, caused my heart to pitter patter there for a minute. But you know, sometimes these mistakes, if you just take your time and figure out what you're going to do with it, it turns out to be, you know, I like the way the layout came even more than if I had left it like this. You will see the little bits, it's a gold star vellum, and I did gut the vellum because there's no way that I was going to waste all of that vellum underneath the layout. So thanks so much for joining me. If you have any questions, please leave a comment, or if you just want to say something nice, I'd love those too. Thanks so much, and I hope to see you soon. Take care. Bye.